All right, good afternoon. So I'm here doing on my assignment for doing a district tour. And so I'm here with our new assistant principal of the high school, Mr. Stephen Day. Mr. Day, welcome, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's a great opportunity.
Yes, well, first of all, welcome to the district. We're glad that you chose EDLE, and we think it's a great district that we have here, and we're glad that you're on board. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to want to just tell you a little bit about the district. I know, during your interview, they talked about it, but just give you a little insight. And then we're just going to go hit the different campuses and just kind of tour the campuses. I know you'll be at the high school mainly, but it's always good to kind of know the different campuses on the district and be able to get familiar with them, because there's going to be some times that, we're always around on different districts.
Sure.
So just start off, EDLE, here we are in East Texas. We're a little 3A school on the interstate here, 59, lots of traffic. We have about 1,800 students in the district. We have 5 campuses. We have our primary campus, which is just our pre-K 3 and 4. We have Temple Elementary and Temple Intermediate. They're one big building, but they're split into 2 campuses. So our elementary is kindergarten through 2nd. Our intermediates 3rd through 5th grade. We've got our junior high, which is 6th through 8th grade, and then we got our high school, which is where you'll be at, which is 9th through 12th. Big thing probably in those last 10 years in the district is that the district in 2010 passed a $22 million bond, which allowed us to build the new intermediate and elementary school. And so when we see that, you'll see it's the brand new building, and even if it's almost 10 years old, it still looks brand new. Along with that bond, we built a whole new school, really to kind of accommodate our growing size, because EDLE has grown. We're looking at right now almost hitting that window from 3A to 4A. And so we're always kind of looking at that, but we continue to grow, which is a good sign that we're having. With that bond, we also were able to update some other campuses. Our primary campus got a little renovation, and so when we go over there, you'll kind of see it looks a little newer. And then we were able to improve some classroom stuff at the high school, and then we were able to improve our technology infrastructure and some safety things going on. So a little background about the city of EDLE, just to kind of, it was developed through the logging industry. You'll see a lot of logging trucks coming through here. It was TLL Temple. I don't know if you're familiar with Temple, but they were a big industry back in the day that really kind of built the community around their company. And I think what's so unique about EDLE is the way that they were able to preserve the city through endowments, through everything they've done, that we have so much as a small town. I mean, I consider EDLE a small town when you look at Lufkin, right, 10 miles down the road, but we have so much more than a lot of these towns offer of our size, which I think is such a unique opportunity for our families and for our students, for our teachers. Here in EDLE, we actually have our own civic center. That they've been wonderful for us, that we are able to use it as a school district to put on some big events, which has helped us, not have to have such a big facility for the district. We're able to then focus on other things we want to do in the district. We have a public library here in town. Not many places our size have their own public library that has done a wonderful job working with our schools, working with the community. We have a wonderful park that has continued to look really, that has a baseball field that we're allowed to use for high school baseball. Again, another facility that, because of what the town has offered us and being able to done for the district, we're able to then, not have to, focus so much on making sure we have those facilities, and it allows us to focus on building other areas. Right. And then we even have a golf course here in town, a beautiful golf course that has really been gracious for us. It's so nice to have one right next to the high school. You've probably seen it driving by.
Yes, it's nice.
Yes, that I know that we're able to hold tournaments there, and I think we held the district tournament this last year there. So a small town here that just has so much to offer, and they've really embraced the schools. I think one thing that the logging company did way back when was they really kind of built the community and built the school with that idea. School is so important to the community. And you continue to see that with the connection that we have with our community. And it's such a great thing to have in a small town like this.
Right.
So, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about our vision statement, because everything we do goes back to what our district vision statement and our mission statements are. And I think it's important that, we remember those. One of the things that we do every board meeting is we have our vision statement right at the very beginning, because I think it's important to remember what that is, because that's what we do. Our vision statement is where we want to get to. And so it's so important to kind of remember that, to focus on that. So again, so our vision statement is Diboll is the district of choice in East Texas, with state-of-the-art facilities provide an ideal learning environment, an exemplary staff, innovative and challenging curriculum, and an actively involved community foster creative center of learning for everyone. You know, it's a lot. And it's a vision. It's something we'll be honest, we haven't achieved yet, but it's where we want to go. I think it's important to remember always where we want to get to. I think it's really important that this is something that our board came up with the help of several different departments. And I thought it was really interesting when they talk about that district of choice in East Texas. You know, in East Texas, you have schools, seems all over. And, you know, in our county, we have 6 schools within 30 miles of us, ranging from a big 5A in Lufkin to little 1A schools, 2A, 3A. There's so many choices that parents and families can have, and we want them to choose Diboll. We feel like this is the school that we want them to be at, because we feel like we are capable of doing what's best for students. And so we need to make sure, though, that with that competition, that we're giving the parents, giving the students everything that they could be possible. That's why we talked about state-of-the-art facilities, talked about the bond. We passed that bond. You know, we knew that, you know, just 10 years ago with how it was growing, that we needed something. And so when you're walking around, you'll see how there's always growth. Even if it's not the building itself, it's what's in the building. We're always continuing to want to improve and going back to that mission, that vision of how can we make it the best possible for this community. You know, we have, I think, a wonderful staff here. You know, is it perfect? No, but we are always striving. You know, we're always trying to build it. And our board has done such a wonderful job of doing certain things to help with our recruitment. In fact, just recently they increased our money for our steps, for pay for teachers. They've increased. We're going to get COVID pay next year for teachers and staff. And we're just trying to find ways. And in fact, they even, you know, math and science gets little, you know, bonuses. We've actually added English now for English retention for teachers. And I just think that goes back to our vision. Our board understands what our vision is. And to get good teachers, you have to be willing to pay. You have to be willing to give them those resources, and we do. We have a great department, a curriculum department that works really well with our teachers to get them whatever they really need. And we make sure, as long as it's what's right for the students, and if it meets this vision statement, then we're going to do everything we can to meet those needs of our teachers and our students. And then we also talk about the community. We want to bring the community in. We do a great job working with the community. We have several community outreach programs. We have a community outreach director once a month. She puts on programs in the evenings for families to come, different topics that they hopefully are interested in to help them learn, to help them grow as families. And then we do things like we have a wonderful, what we call Hugs and Mugs during Christmas time, where as a district we'll provide every staff member gets a mug. It's every different every year. But then we do a wonderful thing here at our administration building where we will bring in a bunch of different activities for families to come. We bring in snow that they're sledding. We have Christmas decorations. We have Santa Claus that comes. And so, and we usually do it at the beginning of December to kind of kick off that holiday festivity. And so again, we try to find ways to bring the community in. And that's one thing as an administrator we're kind of wanting to know, anytime you have any kind of idea of how can I bring the community in, what can we do? We're listening because we want to involve our community and get them involved. We have so much support with our athletics, with our extracurricular stuff, but we want to make sure we're bringing them into the classroom as well. With that, we have our vision statement's the big picture, obviously. So to accomplish it, our board and committees have created a mission statement. So our mission statement is that the district, as our educational center of our community, prepares our students for the challenges of the 21st century through collaborative efforts of parents, staff, and community in a safe learning environment. And so what I think is really, our board has done a really great job of, or the committee that did this, was that's a pretty big mission statement. But what they did was they set out 5 goals. And they're pretty realistic goals, but we can focus on those goals, they will fulfill the mission statement. And so goal 1 is that as a district, we are committed to academic progress and growth. I mean, that's what we're looking for from our students, is that, we want to make sure that our students are given the opportunity to grow. And with growth, hopefully comes the progress academically. We're seeing them every year. We just want to continue to see grow. It doesn't matter if we have a student that's a high achieving student, we want to see them go even further. A low achieving student, we want to see them continue to grow. It's all about growth. And with that commitment comes, we will bring in whatever resources we need. We will do whatever, if it's best for students to see that growth. We have programs in place that help monitor. We've adopted this last year, NWA, which is a map growth, for our 3 through 8. That has helped us see growth throughout the year to monitor it. We're looking at anything we can. We're analyzing our test scores. We're analyzing our checkpoint data. We checkpoint every 3 weeks just to get an idea of where our students are at. Are they growing? Are they progressing? And at the rate they need to. And then all you do is go make readjustments. I think it's really important for teachers to understand that everything that we want to do, it's based off of just, are the students growing like we want them to do? And if not, then we know as teachers and as staff and as administration that we have to make adjustments. Right. And so it's important that everyone's on that same page and just know what's best for the student to make them grow. So our second commitment to go along with our mission is that we are committed to helping students achieve job readiness. And I think that comes in with our mission statement talking about the 21st century. When things have changed, our jobs have changed from the last 10, 15, 20 years, and we want to make sure our students are prepared for that. We've got to make sure that when they leave our door, or they leave the high school building, they are gone into the real world, that they're prepared. Doesn't matter if they were here since kindergarten, doesn't matter if they came in 10th grade. Right. That we have to make sure we've done everything possible to get them ready for whether it be college, and that we know the honest truth is that not every student is going to go to college. We'd like that to be, but you have to be realistic. And it means that those that aren't have to be ready to do something else. And so with that, we have to be committed to helping them achieve what it is. Whether it be, we have a growing CT program that, you'll see when we go to the high school, we'll see some different labs that they've started building, culinary arts. We've done a great job with our ad program, just to build those opportunities for those students to achieve certificates, to earn some things before they even leave high school, to have that opportunity to go and go into the workforce. We work really hard with our community and with our businesses to see where we do need to grow, what do the students need to know. And we do a great job of bringing some of them in to help us out, to kind of guide us, because they're the ones that know what these kids need to know when they leave EDLE ISD. Right. And so it's important to make sure that they're ready. Even right now, one of the luxuries that we've had is we're hiring back a transition coordinator this next year for 6th through 12th grade for our special ed students. And that role is to make sure that they're getting what they need to, so when they leave, that they're prepared for life after high school. Right. Our job is to not just educate them until that last day of June, but it's make sure that they're lifelong learners and they're successful in life. And that's our goal, and that's what our role is in this community. So the third goal, when we talk about our goals, we're committed to providing and using modern technology in the classroom. I think it's so important to make sure that our students are being prepared for what is after. And this kind of goes in with the job readiness. So much now is technology based. So much is needs to know how to use technology. And so we're committed to providing that. We have spent, we have a technology department that does a wonderful job with making sure that we're suited with what we need with our Wi-Fi capabilities, our internet capabilities. We are one-to-one technology with our students. Every student has access to a Chromebook. Some of our secondary grades, they get to take it home with them. Some of our younger kids, it stays in the classroom. But we have that access to them to make sure that they have it. And then our teachers are trained. They do a great job of, trying things out, being willing to learn, and that we make sure that we give them the training they have. And I'll tell you, I thought during, last year and the last couple of years, it's been really tough with COVID. And I thought that our teachers did a wonderful job during the shutdown when we had to go completely home. And then when we came back last year and opened our doors, our teachers seemed to be, they did a great adjustment using technology. I think it's because they've had it before. They were used to it, they've been using it. And so then when we had to go into doing Google Classroom with everyone, when we had to Zoom, when we had to make videos, our teachers were hitting it. And I really think it was a benefit because it's something that they've been using and they were committed to it before that. And they embraced it. And with that, with these changes came that, I think they're kind of ready to step back a little bit from technology, and find that good little, middle area between pre-COVID and during COVID. But we know that, what we have available to us, and and they've done such a great job using it, and I don't think we missed a beat, and I think we saw it with some of our scores. I think we saw it with, we were able to open our doors and we stayed open, and I think a lot of it was because of the way the teachers were able to do that. So our fourth goal has to do with, that our district is committed to managing our resources provided, by our taxpayers in an efficient and responsible way. We gotta make sure the money that we get coming in, that those taxpayers are giving us that money to make sure that we are educating our kids. And so any kind of decisions we make at the district level, at the campus level, it's gotta be make sure that whatever financial decisions we're making is a benefit to those kids. Kind of goes into all these other goals. Is it gonna help them show growth? Is it gonna be for technology for a reason? So we just have to make sure that we're connecting back to the mission, our mission statement, our vision with anything that we spend. We've got a great financial department that does a wonderful job making sure that we're taken care of and we're provided in what we need. We kind of talked about what they're doing, for our staff to make sure that they're shown, that we do truly are pleased and we're our gratitude towards them by being able to offer them a little stipend next year. And then we're very committed into making sure that we have grants, that we have other funding that can open up some doors. We've got the ESSER funding coming in that's been able to add some positions like our transition position I talked about and some other positions that are gonna really help our students. But we gotta make sure whatever it is, whether it's the grants, whether it's financial, that we're doing it for the best thing for our students. We're not just adding a position to add a position.
Right.
We need to make sure at the high school we're adding another math teacher. And it was a hard decision for us to make, but when we looked at the numbers, when we looked at the data, we looked at the number of students, we realized it was something we had to do. And so that's what we have to base our decisions off of. And then the final one is that we are committed to making our school a safe place for our students, our staff, and our community. I think, we take safety, security very serious. I think that's, any school's going to. But, our parents trust us to have their kids, in our school for 8 hours a day or more.
Right.
So we gotta make sure that they're secure, they're safe, and that our facilities are being taken care of. All our buildings on every campus has exterior doors that have card entry, so the only way you can get into it is by key card or push a button to be allowed in. We're making sure that their security cameras are on all campuses and that they're updated. We've had to, and again, so we've had to use some bond money for that. A couple of years, 10 years ago, we've had to make updates, and we know that that's important.
Right.
And so any kind of safety issue needs to be brought up. Anytime when we'll tell, as an administrator on a campus, if you see something, we need to make sure we're not going to leave it. It needs to make sure that we're bringing it and making sure. And when we go to the junior high, I'll kind of do some stuff that we saw during some walkthroughs that we've noticed. So we take it, we make sure that we provide the safest environment we can. And I think COVID really changed a lot of that too. It changed the way we even think about safety. We've worked really, our teachers, our administrators, our custodial staff, our maintenance, our transport, everybody has worked so hard this past year. We opened our doors from day one, because we felt it was important for our community to be able to open our doors, to be able to bring their children so then they could go to work. That's how our community is going to function. We are a blue collar town.
Right.
We truly are. And so our parents need to go to work, and we understood that. So we opened our doors day one, but we made sure that we took every precaution we could. We wore masks. We sanitized every class period. We came around, our custodial staff would come around at least twice a day into every classroom and use one of the defoggers that they would just, we made sure that we took every precaution we could. As you see when we go around campuses, you're gonna see markings all over the floors. We make sure that, and that's from pre-K to high school. We had to make sure that we were social distancing. You're gonna see in the cafeteria, you're gonna see our maintenance department did a wonderful job making barriers, clear out the clear stuff so our kids could go eat lunch and be safe, but still not feel like, that they were being isolated. And we had to find that tough, balance in that. And I can't tell you how wonderful our job that everybody in the district did with this. We would have kids go out for quarantine, we had teachers go out for quarantine, but we never had to shut down a class, we never had to shut down a school. And that's just because of the efforts that they made. And we know that going into next year, we're hoping to get back to some normalcy. We're taking our guidance from the state, we take our guidance from CDC, and so we have a return plan in place that we're working on. and hopefully once we get, guidance from CDC going into August, we'll be able to have some things, other things in place. I mean, I think our teachers are ready to get back to normalcy. Our students are getting ready to get back to normalcy. We're all getting ready for it, but we're still gonna make sure that our students are safe. Even if we do get back to normal, there's gonna be some stuff we'll probably keep in place, because we did see in COVID, it did work well, and so there's gonna be some stuff, but we're gonna make sure that our students are safe. And so really, if we can those are those 5, things that we're committed to, that lead to our goal, that lead to our vision. And I think that we've seen by doing this, we made these about 4 years ago. Our board made these new visions, made these new mission statements, and we're seeing some positive outcomes because of it. Because of COVID, we truly haven't had a performance report in a couple years. But in 2019, we were a beat district. We had 87 out of 100. We improved from 85 to 87, so we're seeing us improve, and that's what we want. And it's not always the grade, I get, but it's what the community sees. It's what gets posted in the paper. So if we can do those things that we just talked about, those commitments that we have, if we can keep on our vision, we feel like that grade will continue to increase. And it's not about, I know it's not always about the grade, but it is what our parents see, it's what our community sees, it's what we're thought about. And when we're trying to strive to be the best district in East Texas, the best district in our area, like I said, 6 schools within 30 miles, that grade's gonna mean a lot. So we wanna keep seeing that improve. So when we look at our accountability from back then, like I said, so we had an A in school progress, so we saw that growth. We talked about one of our first goals was academic progress and growth. And we had a 91 in progress and an 87 in student achievement. So we had a C in closing the gaps, and so that's an area that we've really focused on these last 2 years. Our EDLE students, we've brought in some additional professional development for our students, or for our teachers, sorry. We brought in some extra resources for our students to try to increase those numbers, and then some of the other performance numbers that we're seeing. But we really make sure that we're looking at our data to see where we need to go. And then, we just got our STAR scores this last month, and we had our ups and downs. I think we don't know what to expect after COVID. We lost 3 months of total instruction really when they went home. And then last year, there was a lot of fluctuation with students being out or teachers being out, and it was tough. We had some students that stayed home the whole year. And so we're still kind of seeing what the aftermath of that's gonna be. I was gonna share with you at the high school, since that's where you're gonna be, just some of the numbers that we saw. We were very pleased. I thought our high school did a great job. We stayed consistent over what we did a couple years ago, and we actually saw our English scores for English 1 and English 2 both grew, and that was great. We saw our algebra scores with some new teachers stayed consistent. Our U.S. history scores, we saw, I think we had 97, which was a huge number. We did a great job a couple years ago. It was 96% this time around. And so we thought that we did saw a great job in that. But I will tell you, there are some areas that we need to improve. There are always going to be. And I think one of the focuses that we're having, especially at the high school, is we need to increase our meets and masters, because that's where you're going to increase that accountability in some of the areas. Our curriculum departments put together some stuff to show that our meets and master scores are lower, and even our SAT and ACT scores. And so what we're doing right now is we're really looking to increase the rigor, especially in our honors classes. We want to do it overall, but we're really going to focus on our honors classes. We're bringing in Springboard, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. So Springboard is a textbook from College Board, and College Board is the one that does SAT. They have for English and math, they have a whole curriculum. It's for advanced students, and so we're actually starting in 6th grade. But you're going to see that in reading and in math, and then we'll have it for our honors classes in reading and math, or ELA and math as well in high school. So we know that it's going to come with some challenges. The rigor is going to be much higher, and so the students that have to be pushed, and we're okay with that. It's just going to come making sure we're communicating with students, communicating with parents, that they're going to be challenged a little more, but I think that's what we need them to do. Sure. We're also looking into some prep classes for ACT, SAT, making sure that those students are ready, even TSI, just to make sure they're prepared for what's coming up next. We really want to increase our AP programs. Those are some of the things that we feel like. We talked about job readiness, but even college readiness. We got to make sure our students are prepared, that not just Angelina College, but if they're going to Texas A&M or University of Texas, that they're able to compete and be at the same level as students from other schools. And so that's something that, being on that campus, we want, make sure that we're continuing to see that growth, and that rigor. So, that's pretty much, I know that was a lot. We just want to introduce you to the district and kind of talk about what our expectations are. So, I'm going to kind of take you around here, and then we're going to head out to our campuses.
Sounds
great.
great.
All right.
Great. Sounds like a great place to be. Let's see the rest of it.
Yes, wonderful. All right, so here we are at the primary campus. Unfortunately, because of summer, there's some stuff locked down. We can't get in it.
Right.
So I'm going to just kind of take you around here.
Okay.
So this is our pre-K. So we have pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. We have 3 pre-K 3 teachers, and we have 6 pre-K 4. A lot of our families won't start bringing them until they're 4 years old. We just really try to get with our community to talk about the importance of trying to get your kids in here early so they can learn some of this stuff to get ready for once they go to kindergarten. I know our pre-K 3 really works on just recognizing their alphabets, numbers, counting to 20, and just the colors, that kind of stuff. And then when they get to pre-K 4, it's more about them being able to know your sounds, to know your, to be able to recognize some words, to be able to understand when you're being read, to be able to read color. And what I love about what we do here is that we do have an accelerated program as well for those pre-K 4 kids. So if they're a little ahead of the game, if they were in pre-K 3, then we actually have a program for them as well. So you're already seeing that differentiation now, getting them prepared. So you can see here, that's the main building here. We have a 3rd grade hall, a pre-K 3 hall and a pre-K 4 hall. We've got our cafeteria here, and we got a nice shaded area that they love to come out. And then we have our gym over there. The gym was just renovated recently, and then you can see the updates here on the campus. Was part of the bond we were able to renovate. The building itself was, I think, built in the 1990s, and so it needed a little bit of a touch-up.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, I'll tell you, when we do walkthroughs and we got to go through, I love coming here.
Right.
Because you're able to walk into a class and see all the kids smiling. They're happy. They come and give you hugs and ask you what your name is, and
They still like you.
they still like you. And they'll ask you some strange questions,
Right.
But it's fun. It's one of those days. If you're having a bad day and you got to go do a walkthrough, this is a great place to come to do
Right.
one. Because the teachers do a great job with them. They're always engaged in activities.
Right.
They're always doing something. And so it's a lot of fun, and we've really supported the teachers. Every classroom has a smart board in it, so the kids are interactively being able to play with the board and be able to do those kind of things. And we want to make sure it's a hands-on experience for them.
Sure.
And so, we have our principal here. She was the AP for a while, for 2-3 years, Ms. Dodd, and now she took over last year. She's just done a great job of really recruiting some wonderful teachers. We're adding a librarian. We're adding a whole library for them.
Oh, good.
And so we're really trying to continue to build our pre-K program so then we can see where they go once they get to kindergarten. We can get them started earlier.
Sure.
So, all right. So it's a nice little campus here. It's a nice little area. So next we're going to go over to the junior high.
Sounds good.
All right. At our junior high, EDLE Junior High. What's really nice about this building, this is the oldest building in the district. This was actually this building, the front of this building was the original high school in 1958.
Oh, wow.
And so, while there's been some updates, it's important to keep your culture.
Sure.
And to keep that history and be part of it. And so we've been able to, this is the one building that they've really been able to keep as part of it. And then as we get out, you'll see how they've kind of built. The nice thing about this place is they've been able to build behind it.
Right.
So here we have, this is actually our chief of police, his office. We actually have a police staff on campus, our resource officers. We have one for every campus.
Very nice.
And we talk about that safety and that security and one of those goals. And that was one of the things that our school board thought was really important. And I know, 3-4 years ago, we had 3 or 4 of them, but they made sure there's one on every campus now.
Right.
Just to make sure that, again, you want somebody there, I think parents feel secure when we know that those positions are there.
Absolutely.
And one other thing that we are going to do this summer is we're going to come in here and we're going to kind of build a little area here, an entrance area, to make sure when they come in that they can't go past the desk area. And you'll see it when we go over to the intermediate campus. That's what the newer schools always have, is that foyer area.
Right.
And we're going to make sure that we have that here now.
Okay.
For some of our buildings. So we're just going to walk around. You can see here. So this is the main hallway of the building. we have, you know, there's 420 students in the junior high, grade 6 through 8. I think there's 34 teachers. And so we have our hallway here. This house is most of 6th grade. They try to do it by grade level.
Okay.
Just so you don't have as much movement going on.
Right.
So we've got our 6th grade classrooms. Classrooms are a little smaller, obviously, because the older the building is. You know, and so we try to update as much as possible and give a little room where we can. But you know, we're able to. We've got, you can see our math teacher here being very innovative in writing his math on the wall here, and you know, and so we've got an outside access point up here to go outside.
Okay.
But it's, you know, we really, you know, while we try to upkeep on the paint and all that, we really want to make sure that this building stays here.
Right.
So, and then we're gonna we'll kind of come out here real quickly, and I'm gonna kind of take you out to the back here.
Well, looks like the floor's been updated.
The floor, yes, and yep, and you can also see the lines. We talked about those lines.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
You can see it's just another entry point for teachers to be able to have. And you can see key card entry at every place. Talk about safety. One of those things that you learn while you're doing walkthroughs is what we realize is everything's gated, but right here.
Yeah.
We realized that right off the street, we can walk right in the back here. And so this summer, our maintenance department's going to come out and they're going to fence all of this area
Oh, that would be nice.
and make sure that everything gets fenced. And they come here and we have our gym. Again, one of those things of keeping keep as much history as you can. This gym was built in the 60s and it's still here.
Oh, wow.
You know, we've done some refurbishing, we've done some improvements. You know, we've built a band hall. We've built this big, you know, our locker room space has gotten bigger and bigger as we go.
Right.
But we just want to make sure that we're trying to preserve as much as we can.
Like, play ball and get
Exactly. And you know, and you keep that connection. At some point they have that with community, have that with, you know, they can say, you know, I was here too.
Sure.
I'll just kind of come in here in the dark here real quickly. And you can see in the dark here, we got the gym, you know, it's really kind of reminds you of that kind of that old school type of gym.
Sure does.
And so we've got you know, we've done the stands and we've added to it. But again, we just want to make sure that things like this that we can keep and keep that kind of that history, that culture. And then, you know, we built locker rooms and added on. You can almost kind of see the difference as this. And then we have our band hall is all back there.
Okay.
And we've built up on that as well.
Good.
So you can kind of tell as we're kind of coming in here, just the different stages that this school has gone through.
Right.
You know, from our main building there into this building, and then we're gonna go over our middle section, which you can kind of see was built in the 70s.
Oh, there we go.
And so we kind of thought, you know, we want to keep that front building, but then you have to build on from there.
Right. So just through the years, we just add a wing here and there.
And I think that we need it to make sure that we're as we grow, as our district grows, we need to make sure that we have the space for it and we have the room.
Right.
So we make sure everything's covered. Again, to keep, you know, this is our one campus that's outside that we consider, you know, where the kids actually have to go outside to get places. Every other campus, for the most part, is hallways. And so we have to make sure that we're keeping this up, that we are making sure that, again, safety issues. You know, here's our cafeteria. That got redone in 1993, I believe, to be expanded, to grow. This is one of our little unique areas right here. It's got a nice little patio out here. And so we've got some classrooms out here that were built. As you can see, we kind of started with almost portable buildings as we're growing, and then when we expanded.
It's a nice looking area.
Yeah,
Kids enjoy it.
Kids enjoy it. It's great to come out on a nice day and be able to see the kids working out here and different activities. Teachers love to do some different things, write postings on the wall, and they kind of have to do scavenger hunts and that kind of thing. So then this building was like 1989. As we continue to expand, and as you can see in the summer, everything.
Oh, sure.
So this is pretty much our 8th grade hall. And so we have our 8th grade social studies 8th grade reading teachers, 8th grade math teacher down the hall. The one room here this is our 6th grade science lab, because obviously, as we kind of grew, we didn't have space in the front building to put a science lab.
Okay.
And so we built 2 here. So there's this one and there's one next door.
Okay.
So this is our 6th grade one, this is our 7th grade. But you can see that we have everything we need
Right.
for our science labs.
Very good.
So it's nice again, our 8th graders are kind of for the most part change classes here, there, and also it really helps because our teachers, all our 8th grade teachers are together for the most part. So they're able to communicate with our students, they're able to talk about, if there's something going on or how to relate and help students.
Sure.
And so we're kind of here. So we got our standalone library right there. Again, kind of in all this, kind of you can tell how things are getting built. We have our last building back here, which is built in, again, more expansion comes in the 2000s, so we're going to build another building. And you can see here how classroom's a little bigger, size gets,
More modern.
exactly. So this was built in 2006. It's probably the most modern thing we have on this campus. So we go from one of our oldest buildings to one of our newer buildings here. Restrooms are bigger here than they are. And so this has kind of become our 7th grade room hallway. We have our art studio here with more space, more storage. That was the one thing we found as we were building this storage area and some storage issues, and so we found some places, and so bigger classroom sizes here, and find ways to have more storage. We have our content mastery, and we actually have it connected to one of our reading interventionist rooms.
Oh, good.
So they're able to transition back and forth there. You can kind of see this is our other science lab right here. So we added one more to make sure that we could, meet the needs of our students as we continue to grow.
Right.
So, it's one of the things. Yeah, you can kind of probably see a big difference between
Absolutely.
this building and the other. So, while we know that we want to continue to keep our history, we also know that we need to continue to grow.
That is unique about this campus. You have a little bit of both, and that's good for the kids, for sure.
I think it is great for the kids being able to, junior high by age of that 6th grade, that they start kind of understanding that culture of their society, of their community. Like you said, those kids not playing the same gym that their parents played in.
Absolutely.
So, and then we have our access out here too. Again, we talk about security. We got a wide open gate there. This summer, the other thing they're going to come do is they're going to come and put those lock bars on the back of them.
Okay.
So you can push out, but you're not going to be able to get in anymore. Like I said, this is probably our biggest security campus, just because it's all open. Every other campus you have one door or two. You have outside doors that just lead to the inside, but because we're so open here, we have to really maintain our focus on this campus with security. We are going to put in some new security doors coming in here as well, just to kind of update it. So we're going to come in here. Last thing I'm going to show you, even though we got this old building here, we do have some renovations that we've kind of made over here to continue again our growth. We saw our life skills classes needed some upgrade.
Right.
And so we made sure that we met those needs. Hey, little guy. Yeah, here you go. Welcome to Texas Summer. So last year we ended up expanding and renovating this whole section.
Okay.
We got our staff restroom. First time they've had a actual staff restroom here.
Well, that's
Yes,
nice.
Exactly. We were able to tie it in because of our life skills classroom here.
Right.
And so right now we've got some extra classrooms that we use for ISS rooms and some classrooms. And then we have our life skills room, which we were able to bring in a whole bathroom into here.
Oh.
And I mean, this was about half the size.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were able to expand it,
Very
bring in the whole kitchen section here, bring in a bathroom for them. really make sure that we meet their needs.
Right, it's a nice room.
And then out this door right here, we're not gonna walk over there. But one of the things that we did was, you know, there used to be about 10 years ago, our technology department used to be at the admin building in a couple offices. Well, now they got their whole building.
Okay.
And so able to keep more there,
Sure.
storage more,
Right.
have their whole infrastructure now runs there, which has allowed us then to kind of increase our infrastructure on every campus.
Right.
You know, we're proud of the tradition that we have here at Bible.
Right.
And I think that we really kind of see it through the hallways, not just this school, but definitely it's one of those things that we want to make sure we preserve, even with our newer campuses, that we want to make sure that we bring that history back in, that we do it, that we still can continue to be modern,
Right.
that we can still meet the needs.
Tough balance.
And it is, it definitely is, but, you know, you gotta be able to find that balance to be able to do that. I think it's what you kind of build the community. We have to be able to have that, for the community to feel some pride in it. So, okay, well, next we're going to head to our intermediate and elementary
Okay,
campus.
sounds good.
Okay, so we're here now at, it's actually HG Temple. Again, we talk about that history. You know, HG Temple built some schools in the area, so we want to make sure that this is a brand new school.
Right.
2012. I mean, it's almost 19 years old, and you can look around at how beautiful it still looks.
It is nice.
But we want to make sure that we kept that tradition alive. I mean, I walk in here and I see it, kind of look up above, and you see the wood stuff, and I really think about that idea of bringing that back with, you know, temple and timber and that industry. So we're, you know, you can kind of tell it's one big building. With a hallway that connects the two campuses, but they've done a good job of making sure that they've separated them. It's actually one principal, Nikki Miller's the principal of both campuses. She because it's all here, but she's got a great support staff on each side with their APs and everyone else that helps run it. Just kind of going back and forth. So we're gonna just walk around a little bit here. So this is our intermediate side. So this is third, fourth, and fifth grade. And so how we have it separated here is they have their hallways. Fifth is upstairs. It's actually off limits right now as they're cleaning it, so we're not gonna head up there. But you got your third grade hallway here. You got your fourth grade hallway here. We're gonna just walk down here to kind of see how the classrooms kind of look. A little different than you notice from our junior high.
Yeah, a little bit different.
You know, we talk about, you know, you can just see, I mean, you feel the natural light. You know, you can see how our library here has the light that comes into it. You almost don't even need lights in there.
Right.
With the sun out, which is great to have the kids come in there and shoot. You have our rooms here. You can notice the windows here built into them. You know, our teachers, you know, want to make sure that the distractions, but it's still nice to have that. And again, so with all our kids on the same hallway, this is the grade level that they're starting to learn how to change classes.
Right.
They're starting to learn how to move from one class to another. So it's important though just to make sure that they're not going a far ways away as they
Right.
understand that transition.
Right.
And so we make sure that all our kids are kept in, and also, you know, your teachers can now work together. They're right next to each other.
Sure.
Your reading teachers, your math teachers. And so each campus here, even the peek out here, we won't really go outside, but you know, we've got our enclosed area, and we've got our nice playground equipment and stuff that they're able to use. And
Right.
we got a volleyball net, we've got a soccer goal over here for those kids. Again, trying to provide, you know, make sure that we're able to meet their needs, and again, continue with our safety, right?
Right.
Keep our gates there, make sure we, you know, lock those gates, and just make sure that we're secure.
Sure.
So one nice thing about having this building here as well, I'll be honest, is we're able to have things like summer school. We did all our summer school for the whole district here on this campus.
That's
We're
nice.
able to put high school this hallway,
Right.
junior high down here. We had a couple of these classrooms, and upstairs was for intermediate, and also on the other side for elementary. And it just makes it so nice for the district that buses, we're not having to drive buses around. So we talk
Right.
about finances, we talk about things like that, finding ways to make sure that we're only running one bus route. as far as from one location to another. We're not having to stop at the high school and the junior high in the summer.
Right.
That we're able to bring all the kids here. We have one cafeteria staff working now. We're able to then also get those other areas cleaned.
Right.
And get to work with maintenance as able to get those other buildings started on and not have to wait till we're done with summer school.
Seems like a good use of the building, so.
Exactly. It's been a wonderful use. Today was actually our last day of summer school.
Oh,
So we just
nice.
finished up, so you can see some of the rooms are still kind of full because of that.
Right.
So, and then, so we got a third grade hallway here. We got nice big restrooms, to be able to use. We talked about COVID, one of the, we've got the water and water fountains that we were able to install. Definitely something we talked about, what do you want to keep after COVID?
Yeah.
That's been a great thing, bring the water bottle, be able to fill it up.
I think so.
And so it's definitely been, one of those few things that you realize were advantage of what you've learned from
Right.
COVID.
Right.
So we're gonna walk down the hallway here, see kind of what connects these two campuses.
Okay.
And then go over to the elementary side. So we got each side has a nice big library.
Okay.
You can kind of see, and if you see the Chromebooks, our librarians have done a great job of their not only books but technology as well.
One-to-one district-wide.
One-to-one district-wide. And this year what we're really doing is we're pushing a youth initiative. We're trying to get kids in all subjects to be able to read books more. And so our librarians have done a great job of supplying more books, supplying, for summer school, every kid that came to summer school for our elementary intermediate, they all got a book to take home with them.
Okay.
Based off of interest that they had. They filled out a form at the beginning of the summer. The librarians figured out which book they would like,
Right.
and then they gave them a book.
Good.
So we have our gym here.
Okay.
We talked about wanting to make sure that we can provide for the community and give to the community. This gym is open for community members if they want to come in. It's just something that we're able to have. Community's able to use it. They have outdoor access to it, so we're able to have them out, but still be able to secure the rest of the building. We actually this summer we're using this a couple days for COVID vaccinations. We've had some people come in here and we've done it for COVID, so we actually use the junior high gym during the year for that as well.
Okay.
So we're always we want to be part of the community.
Sure.
And make sure that we can find ways to help the community out, to provide areas for them if they need it, to be able to provide, facilities.
Sure.
So this is our, what we call, how do you say that? Cafetorium, right?
Cafetorium, there you
the
go.
cafeteria auditorium. You can see, you talk about COVID,
Right. Divide.
the dividers. We're going to find something for those purposes. Again, we're going to wait till we see what CDC says to make that final decision. But our maintenance department, you want to talk about short notice and having this for almost every campus.
Right.
Finding a way to make sure that our kids were safe but still could come and eat.
Right.
So this was built in the mindset that, we really didn't have a place in the campus, or in the district, that you can have a lot of people. We use the Civic Center at times for when we want the whole district, but we wanted to have a place that even, there's enough room here for students to be able to eat, but we also wanted to make sure that we had some place in the district that we could have certain events. And so we'll do some staff development. We do new teacher in service that first week. We'll do it here. They'll come in, take out all these tables. We'll put out round tables and chairs, and we're able to do that. Last year, even with COVID, we had enough room that we were able to separate everyone two per table and still be able to have, we have a projector up there. We have a whole sound system available. And so we do a lot of our professional development here when we need bigger groups. And so it's nice to have that in the district because that was one thing that we didn't have a whole lot of. You saw the junior high, you saw kind of the space that we were working with. And so it was important when they built this, when they passed that bond, to make sure we had a big enough space to find, to be able to use
It's
that.
district-wide thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And then again, nice windows, get some light in here. I walk in here all the time, look up at that ceiling.
Yeah.
Such a great view. Again, this campus is almost 10 years old. And here we are, and it looks almost brand new. Our custodial staff does an amazing job of being able to keep things clean. And again, our wonderful school board has benefited them. One of the things they just passed was they increased the rate for all our hourly employees, custodial staff, our maintenance, all our food services.
Right.
We want to make sure that we're taking care of them. And so they can come over here, we have the elementary side, very much kind of a similar look. But we have a whole, library for them as well. We wanted to make sure, even though that the buildings were connected, that they each had their own thing.
Right.
We didn't want to have a shared library.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that it was an independent, this is elementary, this is intermediate. So it looks much the same, we have the same hallway, the same design, but this is your campus as an elementary, that's your library.
Right.
Lunches are a different schedule, so they don't see each other a whole lot. And so, again, here we have our hallways, we have our upstairs. As you can see, we're kind of shutting down for right now, going into the weekend.
Right.
And so we got some dark areas. But you got your kindergarten, your second grade, and then upstairs is your first grade.
Okay. Yeah, same bathroom design over
Same
here.
design, yep, and then we've got all our offices here. Each side has a workroom, and then there's a designated teacher lounge in the middle there for teachers with your Coke machine and all that stuff. But each one has their own copy room and workroom, and then you got your offices and your office staff. So I thought when they did the bond, they did a great job of making sure that everybody was taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely, looks like it's planned that way.
All right, well, we're gonna go over to the high school next and see that.
Very good.
Okay, so here we are at the high school. This is where you'll be. Right now, we won't take a huge tour because we talked about maintenance getting a head start on their summer stuff, which is great. So they've kind of waxed the floor here. So the high school was built in the 90s. And so we've added on a little bit over the time. There's 500 students right now. We've seen growth in the high school. And I know we've got some big groups coming up from 7th and 8th grade, and then we kind of go back to normal. But we know that we've had to make sure that we're getting ready for that with our number of teachers. We talked about adding another math teacher. We've added also another ag teacher. Our ag program continues to grow. We talked about that job readiness and that CTE, and so we're growing another ag teacher as we come kind of around here. I like it. We have a nice little area out here, lunch area. I know pre-COVID, they would come out, play ping pong, have some fun out here. There's our cafeteria. You notice that all our band stuff is in the cafeteria. We're actually, one of our big projects this summer is we're renovating the whole band hall. We're expanding our band hall. Our band director who came a couple years ago, Mr. Dock, has done a great job of building this program. And then this year they ended up, we want to celebrate our successes. They had a huge success this year. They got a #1 rating in both marching and in concert band.
That is great.
And so, with that and with his numbers growing, we made sure that we were able to find a way to get that band hall where it needs to be for him and his program. I think one of the things that we've seen a lot on this campus is a lot of successes in our programs. We have band, ag has been growing. We've had kids go to competition, do really well. Athletics, we had our softball team this year go to the state championship game. Great story, great, and you see the support that they had going down to Austin. The fans that we had, and not just parents, not just but their community. Our community is such a great support, and having us send off here and watching this whole parking lot be full as they're leaving. And this is summertime. This is after the school year is over. Such a great story.
They didn't have to be here.
They didn't have to be here, exactly. And we do take pride in a lot of those things. Right now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that, I don't know if you saw it driving by, but our football stand is a little bit under construction. We're getting turf. So we found a way, without having to do a bond, we found a way with our budget and doing some stuff and that's what our community wanted. We took it to our community and we got a committee together and talked to them, and they were very, wanted that, and we understand. And it's one of those things though too, that we build a sense of community. They have that, you see a lot of schools now with it. And we can also now bring some people into the town with playoff games, and then people see our school, and that's what we want to make sure is we have that sense of pride with us. And so our high school here, we can't really go down it, but it's basically done, and you'll see, it's done in hallways. We've got a couple of our academic classes or hallways for classes. We have a new science wing that was built with the bond. It has state-of-the-art lab equipment that they're able to use. We have a whole culinary arts. A couple years ago, we put in a whole new kitchen.
Very good.
for culinary arts to try to build that program. This year we're bringing in robotics.
Oh, good.
And we have a whole robotics lab, and we have a teacher that's going to be doing. He did last year. He would do it after school,
Right.
and now we're going to actually have a class, a couple of classes for it.
Good.
So again, those things that we're trying to find, those things that those students are interested in,
Right.
that we want to do.
Sure.
We're even talking about bringing e-games in, and bringing somebody in for extracurricular that's going to be interested in doing that, and putting a stipend to that, because we know that there's the interest in that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And so really that's what the high school is we're trying to tap into what those kids are interested in, get them what they need academically, but also get them what they need so that they can be involved. We want our high school students to be involved.
Sure.
We want to make sure that, we know they're not all going to be, but we want to ensure that as many as we can, that we're finding something that they're interested in, that they can be involved in, because that's what high school's about. And you build that, you build those rapport with your groups and with your other students, and then you have that sense of pride.
Right.
And that's what we want from our campus and from our high school. And so, that's kind of our district, as you've seen. We're really proud of what we've done here, and what we want to continue to build.
Right.
You can never, we're satisfied with what we have, but we know what we can always do better.
Sure.
And so we want to keep striving to meet the needs of our students and meet the needs of our community.
Right.
And so, welcome aboard.
Thanks for the tour, man. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that you're here, and we know that we're excited to have you.
Good.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right.